How's it going, Sha?
Oh, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm stressed out.
Yeah? What for? Why?
I don't know, but I feel the stress. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'm chucking along. I'm just like, all right, I'm doing the things. I have one thing in particular that I am worried about, but I think I literally just made a breakthrough on something, which is of
Oh,
course
nice.
due tomorrow. But that's how I work. That's how I work.
Okay.
I was talking to Courtney about it, and he was like, "Well, you work best under pressure." I'm like, "That's the only way I work. I don't work unless I see a thumb in the sky getting ready to press down on me. Otherwise, it's not going to get done." And
It's necessary.
yeah, yeah, and so I kind of knew that going in, so I was worried, but not worried, but that it wasn't enough for me to feel my stress things again.
Mm.
And I was just like, ooh, I don't even know what that's about. Why do I feel all of these things? This is early pandemic day stress, you know?
Oh.
I don't know what it's from. But last night my roommate and I were discussing like how we were during the early days of COVID
Yeah.
when we were like kind of locked down and what that meant and how we were acting and how we showed our anxiety and just like what those what those days were like. Do you remember what your days were like
I
then?
I mean, it felt relaxing at first. Like, oh, it's just quiet. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't go out much unless it was for stand up.
Mm.
It was COVID got scary for me when they like announced like, oh no, like y'all gotta stay in. Like when people were
Okay.
like casually staying in or like suggesting it, I was still good. When they like shut things down, I was like, oh, this is scary now.
Oh, so like when they were like, okay, restaurants are closed, bars are closed, only
Yeah,
essential companies, only one person per household at the grocery store.
yeah. Like when we were like wiping down deliveries,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was like, oh, this might be the future. Like this is scary.
Yeah, yeah. It's just wild because it feels like, I mean, who knows what time is it at this point, you know? So I'm just like, oh, sure, yeah, the early days of the pandemic, that was just a few months ago. That was 2 years ago.
Yo,
That was 2 years ago that I was putting on, whatever masks I could find. Um, and then a hood over it, and then like just a bunch of clothes because I thought that clothes would stop COVID from entering my body. So I just was always I always had a bunch of clothes on,
there
and
you go.
then walking to the grocery store and standing in line outside of the grocery store and having a list, and then they put the cart in my hand, and then it was like supermarket sweep. Do you know the show Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah,
Yes, it was a lot like that. Of me just like, okay, I need this, I need this. He didn't say he wanted this, but I know he likes it. I'll get this, and I better get this, and we're gonna need two of those, and but like, like wild, wildness. But I kind of miss shopping like that. I enjoyed shopping like that just because there were no kids in the grocery store, so there was nothing slowing me up.
yeah. I will say the kids haven't come back to pre-pandemic levels to shopping. Like
Mm,
I do think like obviously like they're allowed in again, but
right.
like I think parents are still more inclined to be like, yo, wait in the car. Like they enjoyed the briskness of, oh, we if we leave you, I can actually get things done.
Yeah, I don't know when we forgot about that. I mean, at the grocery store I go to, they are still bringing their kids in, and I am upset about it. But I mean, I was raised a stay in the car child, not
Yeah.
just a not just a latchkey kid, but just like a stay in the car, crack the window, Shalewa, and I'm like, okay, and
Hell
I
yeah.
crack the window and read a book or whatever. And just kept an eye on my sister while they did stuff. But at some point, people thought you had to bring your kids in everywhere you went, and I was just like, just leave them home,
Yeah.
leave them
I,
home, they'll be fine. But I guess they weren't.
I did a ton of homework in the car
So
regularly.
much, so
Yeah.
much.
I saw
Yeah.
I felt like Nas like looking out of windows over there, like seeing the whole neighborhood
Mm.
constantly. Just it wasn't out the project building. It was out of like an old Honda Accord.
Yeah. You see
Regularly.
a lot more of the neighborhood that way.
I was eye level, you know?
Yeah.
I'm always curious with that, with the stress thing, because I agree. I've gotten better at working ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason it does is because I apply like fake pressure to myself, like with to-do lists and stuff like that. I need to feel that something is coming up. The fear or the challenge is that like I have trouble finding the line. So like every now and then I can do more and more if I apply more and more pressure, but there's a point where like I can't do that, and I only realize it after I've overcommitted. And then I'm like real stressed, you know, like because now like the stress is like not only like palpable, it's like I can't solve it, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way several times. I don't know how to resolve that. I'm thankfully in a career where I could just be like, oh, like I fucked up.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to figure that out more and more. It's trippy too, because like you want the stress. Like, I don't know, or at least I do. Like, I was stressed out over the last like month over the fact that stuff that I was working on looked like it wasn't going to happen the way that I initially envisioned. And then yesterday I got a bunch of like calls and meetings, and now it looks like it's going to happen again. And now I'm stressed about the fact that I got to execute that way again, but I'm happy about it. Now I'm like, I get that stress, but it's still stress. I still got a deadline. I still got mad work to do. I just got different work to do than what I was expecting to do.
Yeah.
Like I went upstairs and like told Gabby, like, yo, shorty, you don't know the amount of nonsense I got to do now, with a smile on my face, like through to the top, Sean. Like, yo, this week is going to be horrendously busy, ma. And I'm so happy, baby.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I need it to work as well. I'm trying to get better at managing it by working ahead. Like the podcast, I've gotten pretty good with that.
Yeah, well, this is now, I think, wrapped into a weekly schedule.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't worry about it unless like we have to move a time that we record, and even then I'm just like, we'll figure that out. Because it's become such a part of our lives that it's just like, oh, this will work out in a way. If I need to move it, I will, you know, whereas to me, the stress is just like stuff that is not a normal part of my life.
Right.
So, that's why there are some things that I'm like, I need to do this on the regular. I need it to be a normal part of my life, so I'm not worried about it all the time.
Nah, I dig it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I've always been a procrastinator. I don't know when I thought that I would stop doing that, because I haven't been hard on myself enough to be like, no, you need to stop. Let's learn how to not do it. When I'm like, well, I mean, I'm at this big age. And it hasn't gone, I don't think, horribly wrong. And I am aware that that's what I do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess I just learned to work within those parameters. But because of that, that also means at times my reflux is worse than it should be, you know, which is what happened this week, where I was just like, yo, I've taken my medicine for this. I've taken a lot of medicine for this. And yeah, I don't feel good at all. What is happening? And then I was like, oh, I think I'm stressed out.
Oh yeah. Ain't no medicine for deadlines.
And my face is just like, yes, baby, you are, like dark circles and shit. Yesterday, one of my eyes was just red. Just red. And I was like, huh, that's weird. But look, I have eye drops. I'm like, I look at screens for too long. Let me put these eye drops in. They'll lubricate, they'll soothe things. I put eye drops in, kept it moving, got home, looked in the mirror again, and was like, oh, so y'all ain't stop being red, huh? Okay.
Nah.
Interesting. I guess I'll put more drops in you and then just go to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night, not as red, and then woke up today and was like, well, this is better. But what was that about? Like, why did that happen?
We'll never know, Sha.
We will never know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
my
not meant to be.
No.
Well, let's stressfully get into the news, Sha.
Yeah, breathe deeply, everybody, as we get into the news.
Now that we felt a little bit of Mercury retrograde there, we back, baby. Let's get into the news, Sha.
Okay.
Don't hold that against Mercury, okay?
I'm not even mad. I had a coworker needed me to reorder something for him that he lost. And I was like, okay. And I waited a day, and the next day he was like, I found it. And I said, I know. Like, yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Kicking it off. I think this was one of your articles. Man in Japan gambles COVID town funds mistakenly sent to him. It might be your article, but this is me in spirit.
Yeah. I want you to read this. I saw this, but I want you to read this.
The money was supposed to be COVID-19 assistance for low-income households in a small Japanese town, but it was mistakenly wired to a bank account of a resident who refused to return it and spend most of it on online gambling. Show Taguchi, a 24-year-old jobless resident, that it went to the worst dude. 24-year-old. It could have gone to anybody. Sho Taguchi, a 24-year-old jobless resident in the town of Abu in Western Japan, was arrested on Wednesday. Yamaguchi police said. The police said Thursday he admitted to spending most of the 46.3 million yen, roughly $360,000 in American currency, of taxpayers' money on gambling. According to Kyoto News Agency, only 68,000 yen, $530 is left in his bank account after he withdrew the money 34 times in just over 10 days after the town made the mistake. He's being held on suspicion of computer fraud. Suspicion? Taguchi had allegedly refused the town request to return the money. The funds were COVID-19 subsidies that were deposited into his bank account in April. Each of the 463 low-income households in Abu, population of 3,372, were supposed to receive 100,000 yen, roughly $780 American. But a town official mistakenly submitted to a financial institution a single transfer request of the total amount to Taguchi, whose name was the first name on the list of recipients.
How about that?
Yo.
How about that?
Yo.
One wrong keystroke, and now this dude done gambled away all the money for all the low-income families in his town.
Yo.
And when they were like, hey, bruh, can you get that back to us? That was a mistake. He was like, new phone, who dis?
Oh, my God. Yo, like, real talk, though, like, I was kind of hoping he ran it up.
No, he's not good. Do you think he'd be on the top of the list of people needing funds to begin with if he was good at gambling?
He just needed one person to believe in him, Sha.
Yeah, okay? Well, he believed in himself. He was just the wrong person.
Oh, man, that is incredible.
That's so funny to me.
That is awesome. Yo, shouts to the people with the last names that start with an A. Or whatever your country's equivalent of that is. You know what I mean? We been getting picked on first for questions in school for years. This was his come up, okay?
Oh, yeah. I forgot that you would understand that struggle.
Yes. Hell yeah. I was always first in line, first in the school classrooms, and I ain't had no choice to be, okay? You know? And then you wonder why I'm loud. It's not my personality. It was a survival tactic, okay? I had to show the teacher I was going to participate wherever you put me, okay? Consider other options.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So he lost a lot of money. He was left with what? $530 out of $360,000?
360 racks. My man got $530 left.
and he just kept pulling money out of his bank account. No one could stop him. What is that?
Yo, everything about this article just sound like a rap lyric. No one can stop me. I'm all the way down. Oh man, yo, live your dreams, man. I feel bad for the other residents, the 462 people that did not get the bread.
I really hope that they were able to get some sort of money.
Yeah,
I hope, but I don't know. I mean, what do? Shake down the gambling service that he used online to get the money back? Do you bring in somebody who's hot with like how do you do that? How do you get it?
Bring in the real suitors, okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you get that money back?
Baccarat table, all right? It's my time.
Man.
I could flip that 530 for you, you know? Let's go.
See? And now you sitting right here, right next to Show Taguchi. The both of you.
Yo, that even sound like a rap name. Show Taguchi. You know what I mean? Yo, Show Taguchi, you my idol right now, B. Because, like, yo, this is the right amount of L. Like, if you in the struggle, you in the struggle. I hear you. You need this money. Mm-hmm. But, like, I also know it's not enough money to get you out the struggle.
Right.
You know, 780 ain't changing your life. It helps. I'm not denying it, but it ain't changing your life. Mm-hmm. But hearing about your mans get 360 and start flipping in the gambling house, you living vicariously through that dude, you know?
Yeah, but he's bad.
Yo, I'm not denying it, but for 1 week he was great.
Was he? When? Because he withdrew money 34 times in 10 days. So what was the good day?
For 1 week he was a legend, Sha. Okay, it could not be better. I'm a Show fan. Yo, put out a jersey. You know what I mean? Put out a mixtape. I'm buying all of that.
Okay, great.
Start a Patreon. I will send you $5 a month. You can gamble away. Look
forward to seeing your free Show Taguchi t-shirt.
Oh man, 1 of 1. This is me and Show Taguchi wearing it. That's it. Yo. What kind of crazy bets was you making that you lost 360 racks?
I mean, okay, let's see. So
he got the money in April, Shot April.
I know, and then just got locked up last week.
Oh, you ain't got the time to bet that kind of money.
I know. Yo. I mean, but he's 24, so that means he has the energy to be up all night.
Yo.
So he could just be up all night. And then, I mean, you got to figure some of that money was probably for food. You know, snacks, Coca-Cola. He's not eating a real meal.
Oh, my God.
Not if he somehow... I wonder if he had a couple of days of just, like, balling out and then was like, what if I do a little bit of gambling? And then no one ever heard from him again until he was walked out in handcuffs.
Oh, man.
Except for the bank who was just like, hey, bro, you going to give that back? And he's like, no. That's the other thing is how the government was like, we made a mistake, give that back. Which, don't get me wrong, I get it. Fuck the government. Yes, I understand. But I would have thought that the government could be greasier.
Yeah, I thought they could just take that.
Like the government and the bank. The bank let him come up in there 34 times and take money out, and at no point did they stop. If I go into a bank and I take out too much, like if they got to sit me down and I got to give them my whole life story just so I can take out, over a certain amount.
Right.
But they let him fly?
Listen. You know what? That just told me. If you broke, let's do bank scams in Japan, okay?
That's at least 3 to 4 times a day.
Straight up.
He was at the ATM.
My man was hustling. That was his new job. You know what I mean? They say he was jobless. So. No, he was working hard. You know? He getting the steps in every day, walking to the bank. You know what I mean?
Steps. Yeah, I hope that he also bought an Apple Watch while he was during the 2 days of balling he did before he started gambling.
Oh man, shouts to Show Taguchi. You know what I mean? Live your life, King. This is a story you want to tell for the rest of your life.
Once you're free, live your life.
Free, yeah. Your grandkids are going to hear about this moment. It's going to be great, okay? I promise you, whatever time you spend in jail will be worth the story.
Will it? You're young. Ultimately, you're young.
Yeah. You'll talk about this.
You'll talk about this. You'll get out. Maybe you'll manage your money. I feel like you won't, but maybe you will. Then you'll have a story to tell.
You're going to inspire like some version of a Law and Order in Japan episode, you know?
I was going to say, I look forward to your one-man show.
Oh, man. In other news, a couple plans to spend their retirement years on a cruise ship because it's cheaper than a mortgage. You know, That's right. Retired couple intends to live the rest of their lives aboard cruise ships after determining it was much cheaper than living on land. As reported by the Washington Post, Angelin and Richard Burke made the decision in May of 2021 after taking nearly a dozen cruise vacations in recent years. Angelin, a 53-year-old retired accountant, told the outlet she and her husband thoroughly enjoyed the at-sea trip so much so that they came up with a bold idea to live on cruise ships permanently. They added up various expenses, including the mortgage, the internet, electricity, property taxes, and insurance, which came out to around $3,500 a month. The Burkes then determined living on a cruise ship would cost less than living at the Seattle home. We calculated that we can probably live reasonably well with about $100 a day together, which is what we'd saved up. Bang. The Post reports the couple's 100-day budget does not include food, entertainment, or other everyday life expenses. However, Burke says there are no surprise costs with living on a cruise ship. The price is the price. By living on a cruise ship, you gain your room, you gain your board, you've got entertainment as built in. You're going off to different locations. It's hard to beat that. Bang.
Okay, let me tell you something. As the resident cruise expert of the War Report, I was asking a friend of mine who works for a cable channel that has had cruises.
Okay.
For their cable channel. And she's done those cruises before. And she hit me to the fact that there are people that have been living on cruise ships for a while, for years.
Really?
So this isn't even like new. Like it's wild that this is, that's been written about. But she told me like the beginning of the year, like, yeah, there are people who they get their stuff off board, taken off of one boat and boarded on another, and they just time it and they just go from one cruise to the next because you don't have to laundry. What, you got to worry about laundry?
Right.
You got towels coming to you. I mean, and you're going places, and there's entertainment and the food. There are restaurants, sure, but there's also included in every cruise. There's just free food.
Huh.
Yeah, there's always going to be a buffet that's open 24 hours probably, and food, and they do breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, all of that.
That's freaking dope.
And it's kind of like she said, it's like and there's help, like medical help if you need it.
Really?
There's there's like a doctor or a nurse or something on the boat. It's yeah.
Because you got to assume if they saving money versus Seattle, like versus New York.
Oh, I can't even imagine what that's like. But it's timing. You got to pack correctly. But it is timing. I mean, all the boats are all basically the same, So you set out, okay, this is what we're going to pay for this one. And then that comes in this day. I guess maybe we'll get a hotel overnight and then leave out of that port. What's leaving from that port? Where are they going? Alaska? Great. That's 12 days. We'll get on that one. We'll roll up to Alaska. We'll come back, or we'll stop and, like it's wild. It can be done though.
Huh. I thought about living on one of those like Dominican all-inclusive resorts, but this is next level.
Yeah, because because on an all-inclusive resort, is there always food available?
Right, like that's the idea. Like you got food available to you from every restaurant. I would say roughly 20 hours of the day. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and it's a variety of food. Obviously, and everything else is included as long as you're inside of that. Anything you spend is because you left the resort.
Okay.
But
I bet there are people doing that. But
yeah.
I mean, that is, oh boy. I mean, that's a lot of swaying. What happens when you hit that choppy fucking water, man? What, that's a lot. You're buying them out of sunscreen. I guess every time you dock, you got to go and buy, that's $50 of your $100 a day right there is buying sunscreen. But also, the way my friend was telling me about it, it sounded like something that older people do in like almost in lieu of like going to an old folks home. You know what I mean? So it's kind of wild that this woman who's talking about in this article is 53.
Yeah, like that's not old enough to be doing this stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I've got ex-boyfriends who are 53. Like, what? Yikes.
Low-key, I got a little sad about the elderly a while back too, because like our podcast distributor, it tells you the age range of the people that listen to you.
Right.
Right. And there was like a week where like we consistently have most of our listeners within like, 20s to 40s. Right. That makes sense. We have a little bit of people outside of that, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But like we had 1% of our listeners were over 65.
Okay.
So it's not a huge demo, but they were there.
Uh-huh.
And then like 1 week they just disappeared. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no, where'd that guy go?
Yeah, like what happened? I was so concerned and I can't send a message. I don't know how to do it.
Right. Come back 1%. Let us know you're feeling all right.
Yo, for real. And like, that's the thing. Like, our podcast is big enough where I know it's not one person. So I was trying to think of like events that like could take out, a solid group of like 65-year-olds.
It would be a cruise ship.
And it would be a cruise ship. So I was like looking at the news, like, yo, did like a cruise ship go down? Know what I mean? Did like an elderly home like deal with like a hurricane or something? Like it had to be a pocket. But,
no. Oh, also the internet is terrible on a boat. That's what would keep me off of a boat. The internet situation. Okay. Roaming? I'm not paying roaming. Yo, I put my phone on airplane mode and then only turned it on when I saw land. And then my sister and I furiously answered a text or checked something or whatever, and then we're like, that's it. I don't know.
Oh man. Hey man, keep doing it. You know what I mean? If you need money, hit up my boy show.
Show.
You know what I mean? He might help you out with some investing opportunities.
Give him a couple of years though.
He a little tied up right now. An entire town in Maine was forced to shut down after its only clerk quit over denied vacations. That's right. The single clerk in a small Maine town resigned after the board of selectmen denied her vacation request. Kristen Bouchard was the town clerk at Dumkeg, Maine, since 2020. She requested a 2-week vacation about a month and a half ago. Her plea was denied by the board of selectmen. They claimed that no one was available to step in for her. She left on April 7th. The town has had no one to register vehicles, keep crucial records, or communicate with the State Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. The position of town clerk isn't the only important opening in Dumkeg. The town of 356 people also lacks a code enforcement officer, an assessor, an animal control officer, and a school administration official. The town office shut down to in-person visitors until further notice, according to a statement sent out on April 19th. It took them 12 days to send the email out after this lady left.
That's how little they were prepared. What's the password?
Yo, that's 2 days short of the vacation she was asking for, B.
I know. Like you could have let her have the vacation and been in disarray for 2 weeks.
Real talk.
But y'all ain't want to do that.
Y'all messed up, B.
And now no one can find the laptop. No one can find the city's laptop.
Oh man, you know how much easier it would have been for her to put an away message on her Google emails. You know what I mean? She would have been on. You just got a little alert. Hey, out of town 2 weeks on vacation. I'll be back to answer your questions.
Yeah, town closed for 2 weeks. That's all. Now y'all can't do nothing.
Oh, man. This is awesome. The town official said they are finding it difficult to fill open positions due to financial uncertainties. It is also due to the town's small population and municipal roles being only part-time. Ms. Bouchard was only contracted to work 16 hours each week, though she said she often worked more and was paid just $13,500 a year. We just have been left with a mess from years of neglect and are doing as much as we can to get our own town back in order, said First Selectman Brad McKenchie. Y'all slacking off, B.
Yeah, no, y'all ain't doing. I mean, you got time to give this interview. I feel like you also should be answering some phones or registering some vehicles. I mean, it may be pretty quiet, but this woman was only supposed to work 16 hours a week, but she came in and worked more than that. That was still only making $13,500 a year, which is, I mean, it still feels wild, even if it is just a town of 350 people.
Yeah.
That still feels like not enough.
That's below minimum wage, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That feels low.
Definitely, yeah. That's definitely poverty level.
Yeah.
But it's also part-time. But she sounds like she was probably working full-time hours. Right. And then what's wild here is that they had a statement up. Please call the office before heading out to do any business here. The treasurer will be in a couple of days to accept payments on things such as taxes. Okay, you got the tax man. Tax man gonna be here, so we can still take your tax money.
Yeah,
but we can't do any of the things. Also, the place must be wild. There's got to be animals everywhere, and you ain't got no animal control. You don't have a school administration official. You don't have anyone answering the phones at the school.
Yeah, what's going on up there, B?
I don't even know what a code enforcement officer is supposed to do, but I mean,
they're not getting enforced.
It's not happening. Codes are wilding out here, running the streets with the animals.
Codes have never been more dangerous, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Wild reckless.
Codes are out here with switchblades.
Oh, man. Get these codes off the streets, okay? We tired of this, Maine.
Yeah, that's wild. So for the time being, the people of Passadumkeag?
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Are relying on selectmen and other municipalities to perform fundamental government responsibilities, including getting registered their cars in the nearby municipality of Howland. So they still got to go over to the other city to get. This is wild.
It's trash. I read stories like this, Shot. I read stories like this, and this is why I have so much fear of leaving New York. Like, shit goes slow here, but it get done, you know? I know we got 2 million people on that line, but it's going to get done. I promise you. But, like, stories like this fear me, man. Like, it keeps me cocooned in my little borough of 2 million people, my small little borough.
You do understand your small little borough.
Yeah.
The biggest of the boroughs, by the way.
My little
in an overall city of 9 million plus. But you do realize there are steps between Brooklyn and a town of 356 people, right? there are levels to this shit, and I feel like you could still land on a level and be okay.
I'm gonna try. I'm telling you, I went to Boise. I told you about it. That shit felt like I was on a farm by myself.
Okay,
and that's the state capital.
Yeah, I mean, there's still other spots.
I'm trying.
There are still spots in between. It's not all feast or famine. It's so extreme.
Oh, man. I'm so nervous. To leave this place, but I'm going to try. I will.
No, it's not that scary. They're not all this spot.
In New York related news, New York City removes the last payphone from service. That's right. It's the end of an era. New York City removed its last public payphone on Monday. The boxy enclosures were once an iconic symbol across the city, but the rise of cell phones made the booths obsolete. The effort to replace public payphones across the city kicked off in 2014 when de Blasio administration solicited proposals to reimagine the offering, the city's Office of Technology and Innovation said in a news release. Officials selected City Bridge to develop and operate Link NYC kiosks, which offer services such as free phone calls, Wi-Fi, and device charging. The city began removing street payphones in 2015 to replace them with Link NYC kiosks. There are nearly 2,000 kiosks across the city, according to the latest map. Just like we transitioned from the horse and buggy to the automobile, from the automobile to the airplane, and the digital evolution has progressed from payphones to high-speed Wi-Fi kiosks to meet the demands of our rapidly changing daily communication needs, said Commissioner Matthew Frazier. The last public payphone will be displayed at the Museum of the City of New York as part of an exhibit looking back at life in the city before computers.
Yo, as someone who is the age that I am, to read that there's going to be an exhibit about the look of a city before computers is like, oh, you mean my childhood? My childhood. That's what we're going to do? Okay, cool. Okay, let's speak on these Link NYC kiosks. For those who have not been to New York or seen these, they are these slender towers that have monitors built in on the side for like advertising, and then a little monitor in the front that you can walk up to. It's like a little skinny ATM kind of, and you can make a phone call. You can plug in your device and you can charge it. You can do all of these things. That's true. But first you will need to kick out whomever is living there.
A little task. That's it. You do that first.
And they're not enclosed like a phone booth was. They're in open air. So you will need to ask the person who's living there, hey, can I use this? And there is someone living at every kiosk.
All of them.
All of them, which is sad, but also, I mean, there were certainly people living in phone booths, I guess, probably when they were fully enclosed or whatever.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, well, maybe I just won't charge up. So I don't know if we're switching. I don't know if it's necessarily an upgrade. But it is, I mean, I guess for the people who are living at the kiosks, I've seen many of them watching very funny videos on YouTube with their phone that they have plugged in. So I'm like, okay, cool. They got Wi-Fi. You got everything in my apartment. Shit. I'm just going to go home. What am I doing out in the streets? When was the last time you used a payphone?
Like used, I would say probably college, freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I realized that I was not. This is a very New York story. I had a panic attack. Yo,
you starting any story with "this is a very New York story" is just like every one of our listeners just went, "Duh." Okay, go ahead.
I didn't know. Like, I knew of it, but like, I specifically live in Brooklyn so much that like college was the first time I was gonna consistently not be in Brooklyn. And I didn't have a cell phone when I started college. I got it freshman year, and I when I was leaving my first day of school, I realized I'd forgotten my keys. So I was on call my house to tell my mom, hey, leave keys, like under the doormat or whatever, so I could pick them up when I get in. And I called the house number and a white couple picked up. And I'm like, yo, I'm calling for my mom. And they're like, yeah, nah, she don't live here. And I'm like, nah, I'm positive, B. I've been calling this number for 18 years. And they're like, nope, we've lived here for 2 years, sir. And I hung up. I call up again, and the same situation. And I was starting to get like scared. Like if they were so certain that they were right about their number, that it was convincing me that like, like I like hit like a portal. Like I transported. Like that's where my head was at. Like that's the only logical thing that like could happen. Like I'd seen like just enough conspiracy movies that like somebody kidnapped my parents and made them disappear. You know, like that's what I was thinking. Like shit like that. And no, it just it turns out that like at the time all the Brooklyn numbers were 718. And when you go to Manhattan, all the numbers were 212 area codes. And I was supposed to dial 718 before calling my parents because I was now in Manhattan. So I was calling the Manhattan equivalent to my number and bothering a white couple over and over again for like an hour. And I wasted $1.25. That's 5 phone calls back then. You know, like I went through all of my quarters and it finally like hit me after like the 5th call. Like I worked it out like, okay, this was happening, but I can no longer do anything about it. But at least I knew my parents were safe. Like, you know, no like secret undercover agency of the government had come and taken them. Like I was starting to spiral into thinking.
Right. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you the last time I used a payphone, but that also brings to mind just the changing of the area codes.
Yeah.
And what that was like. Because I remember being in Atlanta when they added 770 to the 404 number.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, like what's considered Atlanta is surrounded by an expressway, just a circle of an expressway. Right. We have a few expressways coming through, but then, you know, any highway where the number starts with like an even number, I think.
Right.
And it's 3 numbers or 3 digits and it's an even number. Usually it's circling a metropolitan area, I believe. So the one for Atlanta is 285.
Okay.
And that's kind of like a unofficial like boundary. So that's the boundary they use. So anything that was outside of 285 or outside the perimeter, as we call it, OTP, they got 770. And then whoever was inside got kept their 404. But there were still some areas that were like right around the perimeter that still managed to hold on to their 404, maybe because of just zoning or something.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was when we got the phone number that we got, we were inside the perimeter, and then we had just moved outside of the perimeter, and then they changed things, but they were like, you're good. You're good.
Let them rock.
So,
good.
Yeah. So that was that's what happened. So we managed to keep our 404.
Yeah, that whole era was crazy. Like, when
fights.
For real, dude, I was at Singular and I saw this dude spaz out like, you ain't gonna take my 718. Okay, that's me. Okay, I'm a 718 type of dude. Okay, I don't want this 646 nonsense.
Oh my goodness, there are a few more. There's like, I feel like the last I heard there's 404, 770, 678, but now there's like a 460 or something. I was just like, what is that? No, I don't accept that number in my life, whatever that is.
Because too many rappers shout out the area codes.
Yeah,
you know, it matters.
I need to know. I need to know they just keep adding them. Okay, yeah. Okay. So quickly, here's the last time I used it was 2000. I want to say 2009, maybe 2010.
Oh,
maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was fairly recent. And I this is wild. What had happened was I'd gone out to visit my parents and they lived about 20 or so miles from me. And I was with them all day. And then I drove back to my house. And at some point, I realized that I did not, like in the middle of the night, I realized I didn't have my phone on me. And I was like, where's my phone? And I'm looking around, I'm tearing things up. And I'm just like, that's weird. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go out to my parents' house and see if they have it.
Okay.
And I was like, but it's like the middle of the night. And I'm like it's easier for me to call and just say, hey, I'm going to come out and look for my phone or whatever. And so I went to a payphone that was around the corner because they were still up. It was in the parking lot of a grocery store and it was still up. And it's like 3 a.m. or something, 3 or 4 a.m. And I call and my mother answers just like, hello. And I'm like, hey, mommy, I'm not even going to ask why you're not asleep. That's you. And I said, hey, did I leave my phone there? Because I had used their car to help them get stuff and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, but I think I left my phone there. So I'm going to come out and see if it's there.
Mm.
That's why I'm calling I'm at a payphone right now. I need to call. I need to come out and see if my phone's there. And my mother's like, well, let me just wake your father and have him look. So she woke him. He was asleep. And Lonnie. Well, she said like 20 times. Finally, he's like, what? And she's like, look in the car for Shalewa's phone. And so he gets up, he looks in the car, he looks in the house, he's like, I don't see it. And he goes back to sleep. And she's like, he didn't see it. And I went, oh man. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to come out and look because he doesn't exactly know what he's looking for. He's also still asleep. I said, okay, well, I'm going to go back to my house because I just drove up here in my pajamas to this. I'm gonna go back to my house, get dressed, get the dog. We're gonna come out. I'm gonna look for my phone. So I get back in the house. I'm getting the dog ready to get back on another journey, and then suddenly I hear my cell phone ringing, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I look around. It's in a shoe. I don't know how. My cell phone was in a shoe, and I picked it up, and I look, and it's my mother calling me. Wow. And I answer and I'm like, mommy. And she's like, I just thought I'd give it a try.
Yo.
I was like, it was in a shoe. She was like, there it is. And then hung up. And I'm like, what?
Your mom is dope.
Yo, I don't know how she knew to do that.
That's freaking awesome. She had those instincts before anybody. That's fantastic.
Yeah, she sure did.
That's freaking beautiful. That's so dope. I knew the phone booths were gonna leave because when I was in like my early 20s and like I had a cell phone now for a while, like my siblings were like kids, they were like 8 and 9 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like I know like there were 2 phone booths that were right across the street from my home, and after like years of walking by them one day, like my sister's like, yo, what's that? And I'm like, that's a phone booth. Like, you make phone calls. She's like, yeah, but you got a cell phone. I'm like, yeah, well, I was trying to explain it in present day terms because that's what we were living. Not right. Like how the kid would see that as like prehistoric. So right. Like, I'm like, nah, like, people don't always have cell phones, like, so if you don't have a cell phone, you can use that. And she was like, but none of your friends got cell phones either? And I'm like, I guess not. That's why you would use this. And she's like, man, that's a bad day.
She ain't wrong. She was not wrong. Yo. That is a bad day.
Oh man, shout outs to the last phone booth, man. You live long. These Link NYC things sound great, but none of them are in my hood. So I would love to know. Yeah,
that's the other thing. They're only in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So it's really not that fantastic at all. Don't buy that bullshit. I am sad that the phone booths are going away.
Sincerely. East New York, New Lots, Brownsville, Cypress Hills, Ozone Park. We got like 6 of them total, and they're all in a row next to each other. I promise you that area is huge.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Straight
also,
up.
Old movies won't make any sense because people are like, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But man, like payphones are so important in movies. So important.
They had a whole movie based on that shit. It's just called Phone Booth.
Right? Yeah.
Oh man. Walmart pulls the Juneteenth ice cream at the complaint, Sha. That's right. Walmart has pulled the plug on Juneteenth after images of the store's great value brand Juneteenth Celebration Edition ice cream went viral. Social media users criticized the product flavored with the swirl of red velvet and cheesecake. Share and celebrate African American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope. the label. That's a lot from ice cream. Jesus.
That is a lot.
Yo, on Monday, the Fox News reported that Walmart has pulled the ice cream from its stores. Juneteenth holiday marks a celebration of freedom and independence, the company said in a statement. However, we received feedback that a few items caused concern for some of our customers, and we sincerely apologize. We are reviewing our assortment and will remove items as appropriate. Since the ice cream went viral, some have promoted Black-owned ice cream brands such as Creamalicious, which is also sold at select Walmarts.
Okay. First off, this was very funny to watch because people got very upset at great value Juneteenth ice cream, which I guess when you say it like that, yeah. And that it was red velvet flavored. Because there is this other brand, Black-owned, Creamalicious ice cream. I guess my big beef is that, red velvet, yuck. I don't like red velvet cake.
So, no?
Whatever. Nah. What are we doing? What flavor is it? It's just a weird chocolate? No thanks. That's weak. I don't like it. But I'm definitely going to look for Creamalicious because they have red velvet, but they also have a caramel cake flavored ice cream. Ooh. And I'm absolutely going to take a bath in that. Absolutely. But what was far worse than the Juneteenth ice cream was a display, and I don't know if it was Walmart. Personally, it looked like it may have been Target that had this, and I haven't been in a Target to double check. But they had all of these Juneteenth party decorations.
Okay.
So like cups and napkins and things, and they had like either it was a cup or a cup holder or something that said on it, "It's the freedom for me."
Wow.
That photo was the one that I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Is this a joke? It's the freedom for me. Because, I mean, you can say it like, it's the this for me. It's the that for me, right? With that kind of tone. So it's the freedom for me. That's why I love Juneteenth. It's the freedom for me. Or if you're Black, it's more of a, it's the freedom for me. Like there's so many. It's the freedom for me. Like there are many line readings for this.
Oh my God. Yeah, I dropped the ball on that one, homie.
Yeah. But what was really funny was how when it was reported about Walmart pulling it, they used Roy Wood Jr. Like the joke, he made a couple of jokes on Twitter and they used that to give an example of the outrage. And so Roy all day was just like, hey, man, why y'all got me in this? I was just making a couple of jokes. This ain't my fault. But it looks like it's Roy Wood Jr.'s fault.
Roy got too much power in these streets, okay?
So much. He's a media star. He has so much power.
Oh, man. Yeah, ice cream shut down left and right, okay?
Oh, gosh, that's so funny.
What would have made this okay?
I mean,
because like you could do a Pride ice cream. And I feel like there's been ways of doing that haven't been offensive. I feel like there's a way of doing this.
There may be a way of doing this, but I don't even think people fully I guess it feels like it's so quick. I don't think people fully understand the way that Juneteenth has even become a national holiday. It was so like, I don't know, spray it with Windex. Like it feels like there was no thought. Something went horribly wrong. And the way that they thought they could fix it was with Juneteenth and now with ice cream. So, and also there is, I don't know how, I guess established would be the term to use. So there's an established way to celebrate kind of Juneteenth for people in Texas and surrounding areas, because that's where folks really celebrated it because it's celebrating the news getting down to Galveston.
Right.
So Black folks there and by areas surrounding and then by the migration, like out to California even, they have a particular way that they do Juneteenth.
And it doesn't involve ice cream?
Yeah. It may involve ice cream, but I'm sure, I mean, first of all, like I said, red velvet is such a. It just feels like like a cop out.
Yeah,
we can't do butter pecan. We know black folks love butter pecan.
Y'all didn't workshop this, man.
Rum raisin? Y'all stop.
Come on.
That's all the old black men right there are rum raisin. I don't know any young people who eat rum raisin. I only know old black men who eat rum raisin and butter pecan. Let's get it. Come on. Let's think this through.
Come on, Walmart. Get y'all shit together. Okay?
Yeah.
Do a little, like, what they call that? The little meetings they have with the marketing department.
Like a focus group?
Yeah, get a little focus group together, you know? Black folk over 50.
Yeah, somebody still would have been like, this feels like a bad idea. It just feels so like,
and that might have been what the focus group told them.
Yeah.
Like, don't do this.
And they kept going. They kept doing it.
Come on, B. Walmart. Y'all should know better. It's just certain things ain't going to happen. Okay?
Also, this needs to come with a box of Lactaid.
For real.
Let's be real. Same for you, Creamalicious. Y'all better have some little Lactaid tablets taped to the top of that lid instead of a spoon.
Just crushed and like built into the ice cream.
Yeah, Lactaid flavored. Just swirls of Lactaid.
If you would like for the War Report to release their Lactaid flavored ice cream, all you gotta do is like and subscribe to the show, baby. If you are an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You want the Lactaid mixed with red velvet. Come on, B. Dream bigger. 5 stars. You see the vision. Lactaid, butter pecan, Creamalicious ice cream. You're welcome. It's going to sell out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you got
someone find me that caramel cake. That's what I want.
Real talk.
Yeah.
We're going to put the P.O. box in the podcast description. Y'all send that
over. Mailing us caramel cake ice cream in the summertime.
Oh, man. That's going to be a fun delivery. If you have any articles you'd like us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. With all that said, my name is the new member of Ben & Jerry's. That's right, Ben Jerry's and Gastor's. The third tycoon in this race, Gastor Almonte.
Wow.
Always with the flavor master king, the visionary, Shalewa Sharpe. That's right. She's gonna have her own separate brand. It's gonna be like when Ben & Jerry tried to partner up with like Ample Hill. You know, Shalewa got her own brand. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
She's gonna take over the streets.
I'm just gonna put caramel on everything. That's all I'm gonna do.
Very niche brand. Okay.
Yeah, it's me and maybe like 4 other people.
4 strong Yelp reviews. Okay.
Yes.
Always with the constantly caramel flavored ice cream, Shalewa Sharpe. This has been a diabetically friendly, lactose intolerant episode of the War Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.